I was gonna say, I don't know if you saw that there was a recent Friends reunion. That originally when Friends was kind of like, you know, when people started watching those Netflix shows again, like Office and Friends was coming up, there was people that were canceling Friends because they were like, oh, Friends is homophobic and it's like not diverse and stuff. But when we saw this reunion, it felt like a celebration of like something that happened then and not new. Like, do you understand that kind of difference of the time?
Yes and no. I remember I wasn't fully into Friends because I was brand new in the US and I was still getting used to everything that was on TV. But Friends back then to me it was just like, okay, it's whatever. It's adult life. Everybody is living their daily lives, whatever. But some of the things were off the board. But now when I see the reunion, the only thing I could think of is how well or how bad they have aged some of them.
Oh, okay.
That's the one thing that stood out to me.
Like physically?
Physically.
Who did good? Who did bad?
The worst one I think is Joey Tribbiani, whatever.
No, he looks like
he's
like a dad.
No, man.
Like at the grill.
It's just I don't know. He's not even that old compared to his cast members, right? He just looks so old and looks like he's just didn't hit the gym, work out. I know he's a celebrity. You get paid to work out. You could at least hit the gym.
Doesn't he have a show right now?
He's been on a few shows.
He was on this car show.
I think he has like a popular show now.
Yeah. Maybe. The best age, surprisingly, not Jennifer Aniston. The girl Phoebe.
Oh.
She looks so good, like for her age.
You don't like Jennifer Aniston?
She's beautiful, but I feel like she was like not aging for a really long time, but like in the last couple of years, she just like dramatically aged. I don't know what happened.
I think Ross.
He looks good too.
David Schwimmer, I think. He aged really well.
Yeah, yep, defindely.
Jennifer's still popping though.
Who?
Sorry, I'm just looking up everybody. Jennifer's still popping.
She is, but if, I don't know. People say celebrities get their Botox or something done. I don't know if she has anything done. I don't really follow it, but in terms of guys who play Ross,
Courtney did. Courtney got a lot of like stuff done.
Yeah, Courtney. The other guy, Chandler, he went through a lot. I think he was a drug addict or whatever, but he recovered. Good for him.
Yeah.
But I don't think Joey went through any trouble. He should not have been this way. I think he should have been in better shape.
But okay, so if you watch a reunion, you would like Joey a lot.
Okay, I haven't seen it.
Okay, because you see their dynamic with each other.
Yeah. And
you see how they interact. And yeah, it is kind of like a little awkward or a little bit sad, I guess, seeing Chandler, like, because you know how people are like, you want to be nice to him because he's went through a lot and he's not like, it seems like he's not all the way there.
Okay.
It's almost a little bit passive, but it's nice that they're all still them.
Yeah.
They went through something and they
are all like the characters and their stories like continuing from Friends, like
no, so the reunion is not like a continuation of the show.
They're just hanging out together.
Did you see the Fresh Prince one by any chance?
I didn't.
So it was like that, where like they just got together.
Okay.
They explored the set that they were at, and then they like did table readings of the same scripts to see if they could do it again.
It's a cast reunion,
right?
Okay.
And they brought back like some people that were special guests. They did like a little fashion show of old things that they used to wear, really nicely put together. Like the Fresh Prince one was kind of boring, and also because Will Smith is so much bigger than the rest of the cast, it's about Will Smith and like Will Smith putting it together, and like everything revolves around him. And the show did too. It was the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Friends, each person is a lead character, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Especially for the three women, it was like you didn't really see that much, and they were so different and unique and independent in their own ways.
Yeah.
That show, you truly cared about each individual's character, right? So what was cool about this reunion, I thought, was like, like you hear all this criticism about different shows and why they should be this way and why it's like, bad for society and blah, blah, blah. But for people that really like were impacted by that show growing up, like that moment doesn't ever go away. You know how like sometimes you question your own like things that you grew up on, like, oh, you grew up listening to Eminem, but Eminem's this person and he's whack now and stuff. Like, he still had a huge impact on me, and I'll never forget that, And so for Friends, like watching the reunion, I wasn't even into Friends. My siblings, they love it. But I was kind of always like, it was on. I was like, okay, cool show, whatever. But seeing the reunion in this way of like what these celebrities, when they were really young, the bond that they built on camera, off camera, and then to remain intact in that way and like reunite after so long, like we will never understand what they went through.
I mean,
you know?
also, if anybody's getting offended by it, they should also be like grateful, because sometimes they're like, oh, we're like stuck in the past, like we need to grow as a society. That shows progression. Like if you're getting upset by what they're saying in that show and you're like, oh, this would never happen now, like why are they saying this? It shows you that society has progressed.
Yeah. And compared to a show like 10 years probably prior to it, it's probably much worse. So you can
Like
know.
another example, you know how they canceled the Looney Tune character Lupui, whatever, the skunk guy.
They canceled the skunk.
Oh,
The skunk. So if you know the anatomy of a skunk, the female skunk actually is very passionate towards male skunks. So every time he saw a cat that looked like a skunk, he said, oh, I'm going to be more romantic towards the cat. So even though it was a cat and he thought it was a skunk, so he came out really strong, really like a force, predatory. And people like, oh, that's, the R
People
word
canceled
culture.
a skunk?
The Lapui guy, they canceled him because they thought it was
He got called out for Me Too as
Me
a
Too
cartoon
and stuff like that, but they don't understand.
That's crazy.
From his point of view. And back in the day,
Well, also, doesn't he just read a script? I'm pretty sure he's not like a writer. But I don't know. I don't even know what show
They
this is.
got rid of him from the movie Space Jam. That's all I know.
What the heck? That's so weird.
so rude.
They could just like change his kind of role and make him less whatever if they really wanted to.
I bet you Johnny Bravo's next.
Johnny Bravo. Yeah, big
I
time.
grew
Johnny
up on him, man. Johnny Bravo is the man.
Yeah. There was the crazy thing is like with that time, right? When we're thinking about like Fresh Prince and Friends and like all of this other stuff, for some reason we're like really obsessed with the nostalgia of that time. You know, like I don't think we're gonna see reunions of whatever, shows kind of like we were watching in middle school and stuff, because we're seeing these people all the time anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're kind of obsessed with that time. Maybe because it was like right before social media took off. Well, it was way before that.
Yeah.
But-
well, there's also a huge thing, especially about America, post 9/11, right? Like before, the reason we value 90s a lot is because like it was the pre 9/11 era, and like everything was, in that era, everyone thought, it's a beautiful time and everything. And everyone's still 20, 30 years later are still like 90s. So people always say like,
Was that really relevant to 9/11 though?
what?
Like the love for the 90s?
I think it might go with like the love for
Like
the country, love for each other.
Post
all these-
9/11, like the country changed. You can't deny that. Right?
I think my last podcast when I was with you guys, I mentioned I was in Chicago when 9/11 happened, and things did change for me in terms of how people started viewing me. Because I was the minority. It was only like 3 Pakistani kids in the whole school, and there were a lot of Hispanics, and majority of them were just white people, and it was different. It changed. Literally, it changed everything for me.
Yeah. So like, I mean, we were young, so probably like we still felt it. I mean, I still felt
Yeah.
it. But I think especially for the older generation, and the reason why everyone references the 90s is because like after 9/11, like the 2000s and stuff like that, it was, people enjoyed it and stuff, but there's still this trauma that a lot of the US had after that.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's like I'm realizing is that, as more, I guess more critical and more opinions we hear about every little thing, like everything gets put under a microscope immediately, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
where then this show and like any other show was on TV, and maybe you talk to your friends about it or something, but like you're not really hearing a bunch of opinions out there. You're getting an overall audience reaction. You're seeing these celebrities posted up in magazines and everywhere. And I think this like the amount of fame was also different. Like that level of fame of not being reachable is very different than like now you can just, tweet or comment on anybody's thing.
Yeah.
I guess Drake tries to like separate that a little bit, because he turns his comments only so that like his friends, his followers can comment on it. So there's that kind of like, prestige level. But then it was just like, you don't have access to these people. You don't have, like, the show is what it is. And like for a lot of people, it was one of those shows that people would come home and they would just like turn on and they felt like they belonged somewhere. Like people were sharing stories of like, yeah, this changed for me in this way, and like I didn't have any friends, or like I found my love in this way. I had a group of friends that were really close and we all separated, and like I just think that like as we hear more opinions and more critique of everything, whenever something means something to us, like it shouldn't affect anything.
It's like when I was in high school, I used to watch Naruto. It's a really old show, and there's one character, Rock Lee, and Rock Lee and Jiraiya are two of my favorite characters. But initially, first few seasons, you see Rock Lee struggling through a lot of things, and I could relate to it. And till this day, I'm like in my 30s. Till this day, I show my friends, I'm like, yo, this is the best moment in anime when he drops the weights. Yeah. I showed everybody. They're like, wow, what is this? And I told them, they're like, oh, you're a nerd. I'm like, it's okay. It has impact on my life.
Yeah.
Like it showed you, anime, it showed you that hard work pays off. And in real life, it does too. What I've accomplished in my life, I'm like, yeah, I'm not the smartest person, but I'm definitely the harder one out there. So I work hard and to get what I want. And that had an impact on me. And till this day, forever, I'll tell everybody. His little brother started watching too, right?
Yeah.
That's so far. I love that because like you never know what is that one thing and why that moment happened. But like, yeah, there's like so many times in my childhood where I saw something. The first time I saw it, like as a kid, you're blown away by something. Yeah. You don't know why, but like you grow this obsession with it, and it changes the trajectory of your life, literally. Like now we see so much content and just things differently, and we're older, we're able to evaluate differently. As a kid, you don't know as much, and it's just like the one thing that clicks, like it's over. For Amber, it was Cadet Kelly. Like you never know.
That's facts. That's where my love for boot camp happened.